In December of 1940, in the pages of Prize Comics number 7, Mary Shelley's 1818 monster came to life in the golden age of comic books. Now, the introduction of Briefer's Frankenstein in the pages of this comic were considered probably the first horror series that appeared in the golden age of comic books. Briefer drew and wrote his stories of the rampaging monster as a horror series, and the monster rampaged through the pages of Prize Comics for many, many issues. One of the best Frankenstein stories by Briefer in Prize Comics was in number 24 in October of 1942. By the time of this issue, the monster had been rampaging through the pages of Prize Comics for quite a while, being pursued by one of the characters in the story, Bulldog Denny. Denny finally convinced all of the stars that appeared in Prize Comics to team up together to go out and track down the Frankenstein monster and capture him once and for all. And, believe it or not, in the pages of Prize Comics 24, they were successful, and at the end of the story, they all stand around Frankenstein wondering if he really is invincible. After the story in Prize Comics number 24, the monster continued to rampage through the pages of Prize Comics. But by issue number 32, Briefer had decided to make a change to the monster that would change the series for many years to come. And that was to create a humor strip out of the horror strip. And so starting with issue number 33, the monster stories in Prize Comics became a humor series and not a horror series. The humor series in Prize Comics was so successful that the Frankenstein monster, the humorous one, got his own title with Frankenstein number 1 in the summer of 1945. Despite the success of the humor series, its final issue was number 17 in 1949, and that was the end of the Frankenstein series by Dick Briefer. Or was it? Well, as it turns out, it wasn't, and Frankenstein came back for more, but not as a humor series. 3 years later, in 1952, Briefer resurrected his monster in the pages of Frankenstein number 18. The numbering continued, but the series was totally changed from the Prize Comics appearances and from the humor appearances, and Briefer capitalized on the rise of the horror comics in the late 1940s and early 1950s. The final appearance of Briefer's Frankenstein monster in the golden age of comic books was in the pages of Frankenstein number 33. That was the October-November 1954 issue. With the attack on horror and crime comics going on at that time, Briefer decided, along with his publisher, that the title would end. In case you didn't notice, on issue number 17, the final humor issue, and on issue number 33, the final horror issue, Briefer drew almost exactly the same cover.